Welcome to the channel. It's May back again for another episode of DIY, but this time I am in a 250-year-old boatyard with the gorgeous Georgelicious, who adds tremendous value to my life in many ways, one of which is with his welding skills. We prep metal, fix hinges, and discover where all this water is coming from. Don't forget to catch up on my last video when I stumbled across hole number 1. Link coming up in the top left now. Hop on me hearties, it's going to be fun and frustrating all at once in a vlog purely made for your entertainment. Well, aren't you lucky? Woohoo! Okay, so job number 1 is to get this awful, horrible corner sorted. So that's priority. And we're going to just measure up a bar that's going to go across it and weld that on in the boatyard. Number 2, also a priority, is this down here is all cracking. Again, the same thing, welding a bar to go over the top.
This is a poor weld. There's putty over the top of it and then it's been painted to look nice. But if worst comes to the worst, we just grind it all out and redo the entire weld all the way around.
Another job is to fix these handrails. As you can see, someone's cut and did a really nasty job of welding it back on.
Grind it back to clean metal and weld the vertical on there.
Alright, another priority job. These are all that involve leaks and cracks. I am now on the other side. Let's have a look. As you can see here, there is a very ugly looking silver strip. Thank you to can't remember your name for advising me buying this material, which I've completely forgotten the name of.
Flash band.
Flash band.
We're going to sand it back, find the crack, and if we can, we'll weld up the crack. Dead easy. Worst comes to worst, we'll cut the crack out completely and weld in a patch.
Hopefully worst doesn't come to worst, because I don't like the idea of cutting a big crack into my boat. But if it has to be done, it has to be done. What do you think, Cosy? Cosmo, please tell us a little bit more about yourself. For anyone that didn't hear that, he said that my name is Cosmo, I'm about 6 or 7 years old, and I have the pleasure of staying with May, who is one of my bestest friends. Another job that I am going to be doing whilst George is working hard with the welding is the gas locker. So, yeah, it's in a bit of a mess at the minute. At the moment, the hinges are not happy, as you can see. Ooh, that one doesn't even fit on properly, and this one's super loose. Oh god. Okay, so oh my god, safety people, don't look, don't look.
Do you want to film that?
Shall I refilm that? No safety people are going to watch, are they? And if they are, I'm sorry, but everyone does it, okay?
Just plant pots.
It's just plant pots, they're plastic. I'm a little bit nervous about doing this gas locker in the water because it's so on the water level. So it's one of the reasons why I really want to get this done in the boatyard. Basically strip it all back to bare metal, get all the rust out, and prime, repaint. In the corners here we're going to use a needle gun, which is going to help get all the stuff out of there. Oh, hello, what are you doing down here? Naughty. There's also some stuff in here that needs welding because, again, putty job, but until we get in there and sort it out, we don't really know what we're up against. Today's task is preparation for all these jobs to be done in the boatyard on a Monday. Have from 8 AM the boat's going to be going in. The boat will then be dry docked by 10:30. In the meantime, we will prepare and get ready and get PPE and probably start hacking at that corner. And then we've got from 10:30 till 3 for it to be completely dry, and then we have to be out of there by 3 because it's going to get filled back up, which just doesn't take very long, I don't think. And then we've got to get out of there pretty quickly for the next boat to be in the next day. So yeah, I'm scared.
Oh, I love making cupcakes.
Nah. Woo! thing with all of this is that every time we do a job, it's like, oh, and we need to do this as well. And it's about prioritising because I don't have much time in the boatyard. So ideally, we'd get all of this back to metal and do it properly, but just don't have the time. So we're going to red oxide these little patches now, and then when the hinges go back on, it will go on to red oxide, which will be good, stop it rusting. Let's sort those hinges out.
Well, I was going to weld it into this side anyway, and then the other one will just slot over it and that'll be hinged.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Sand it off. Bolt it on. And this. Oh, come here, bugger.
Ah, wee.
Slide that through here. Oh, I need to take this one out here.
Ah, yeah.
So yeah, I'll knock that one out.
This is bronze. It won't rust, but it's brittle. That was George saying that, not me. Whether... Oh, it is working. It is working. That's going to be a little batch, isn't it?
Let's get in there.
While I sit back, relax, and spray some WD-40.
Love the smell of WD-40.
Do you?
Takes me back to fixing bikes when I was a kid.
Oh, that's nice. Cracking job. Thank you. The next job is to cut this thing so that we can weld it on the handrail. In the hole waiting to be filled. A few hours later, we both felt very optimistic about the boatyard day, ready to kick some boaty ass. We spent the rest of the evening foraging, walking, and cooking on fire. Perfection. It's 7 a.m. I think I finally went to sleep when the birds started singing last night. It should have been about 3 a.m, maybe 4. I just couldn't sleep. I just felt so apprehensive about today. And yeah, also stupidly had a glass of wine before bed, which is silly. I shouldn't have done that. Not for me, not for my body, anyway. Anyway, big day. Big day. Welcome to Tooley's Boatyard, one of the oldest dry docks on the inland waterways, opening its doors in 1778. It still operates in much the same way as it did back then, with a manual gate to hold the water out and a giant plug to drain it. You can see Matt here manually manoeuvring steel bars under the boat to raise her off the floor.
You hold the chain, and then there should be a bit of slack to it as well.
Oh yeah.
That's right, okay.
Ready?
And then you just pull.
Give it a yank.
Go,
Give it a yank.
Yeah, go on.
Give it a yank.
Give it a yank.
Hey.
which is going to take about an hour and a half to fully drain out. But as the water line is going down slowly, we can start working because it will be safe to do so, apparently. But first, breakfast. So rusty in here. There's like smoke coming out from like the other side of the... Oh, it's steam. Okay. While George works on the bow, I'm trying to figure out where this leak's coming from this area of the boat, and I can't find it. Then George shouts my name. I thought it was here. I go and see what's going on, and the bow is full of water. Voila! Hole has been holed. We think it's coming from the water tank. There's a hole in my boat, dear Liza. Stop seeping. The biggest challenge for me is not knowing what is wrong. The guesswork is exhausting and creates so many what ifs in my head. I could feel my jaw clenching from the anxiety all day, having to remind myself to breathe from time to time. The time was ticking and this hole just wouldn't stop seeping, even with a patch on top. I had to get into the gas locker and start working. Okay, so can't find where this leak is. It's probably a window. So can't fix it if we don't know what the problem is. George and I stayed in the same position for about 3 hours until finally we figured it out. There is a hole in the corner of the gas locker, and as the locker is higher than the bow, the water has been collecting and caused a massive hole. The water is rainwater stuck between the bow and the locker. We've been at it for hours. We keep uncovering more and more holes. We've got about half an hour left until we need to fill the dock back up with water. Just smiling for some reason. We've hit 3 o'clock. We haven't been thrown out. They've been very gracious. However, I've decided to call it because we're both starting to feel exhausted and mildly frustrated and no longer enjoying the process. So there's a lot more work needs doing. Usually that's what happens, and I was kind of expecting it anyway. So there needs to be more tidying up of the welds that we've created. There needs to be more welding done in the locker, around the outside of the locker. But now that we've figured out what the problem is, and it's not to do with the rubbing strakes on the outside of the hull, it means that whatever welding we do is not going to sink the boat. So we can get a welding generator, plug in a welder and do this on the towpath this year at some point. And then once all the welds are done properly, I can have another go at de-rusting, because I did a lot but there's still loads more to do, as best I can. And then I'm going to just have to be really thorough with the treatment that I put on this to make it last as long as possible, because at the end of the day the bow gets wet and the gas locker gets wet. It's just the way that it is. So this is a maintenance project that I might have to think about doing again in 5 years' time. But hey, that's future May's problem, right? Current May needs a shower. She needs some food. She needs to lie down, but she's got to go fill the tank up with water, get rid of all my waste, cruise for about another hour, and then moor up, and then pass out. Okay, bye. The boat didn't really need to come out of the water and into the boatyard, but it was better to be safe than sorry. All showered. Got rid of all my waste, filled up with water, cider in hand. The #1 star of the show today has to be George for his hard work and incredible skills that will help me stay afloat on the water. I'm sure you'll be seeing more of this handsome chappie as he helps me piece this boat back together bit by bit. Thank you, G. We got a drifter. There's no one in that boat in front. A huge thank you to all for watching, for donating and helping me keep this channel alive. A special huge thanks to Andy, who has been a massive support. You are a legend, thank you. And to Alistair, Carrot Farmer, Mike, Mark and Sally, Ian, David and Kevin again. Thanks so much. See you next week for a surprise announcement. And no, I'm not preggers. Love, love.